spokesperson for the vice president and, of course, flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Bawumia, Dr. Gideon Boako, also parliamentary candidate for the Tano North constituency. Honorable, welcome to Point Blank on Eyewitness News.
Thank you for having me. I'm not yet an honorable.
No, I mean, in Ghana, once somebody's a big man, we call the person honorable, whatever that means, though. But you're an honorable man, I guess. So, it's been quite a tall order for your candidate, Bawumia, given a number of people he had to look through. And eventually, sometime last week, we heard that he had settled on Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. It's not as if it was surprising, though, because quite a number of people knew that it was going to go that direction, but it came officially. Can you take us through the processes that he went through in his mind, in his interactions with you, before arriving on this particular choice?
Well, if you ask of processes, I may know the processes as stipulated in the constitution of the party. Of course, the selection is the prerogative of the presidential candidate, in this case, Vice President Dr. Bawumia. And naturally, as human, he may seek to consult people. And so I was privy to some aspects of that consultation and the discussions, sometimes informal, sometimes he may test your mind without letting you know. He's testing you on who he's planning to select as the running mate. So all those formal, informal engagements and processes have gone on. And what he did today is something that the party's constitution enjoins him to do. That, yes, he has that first right to come up with the name or names of persons that he wants to select as the running mate. But to actualize that decision, he has to present the name to the National Council, or present names to the National Council for the National Council to decide together with him. In fact, as per the writings, the letters in the Constitution, it is his choice in consultation with the National Council of the party. This is an exercise that ideally should have been done last year, somewhere in November, because the party constitution provides a certain time frame for the selection of the running mate and approval when the party is in opposition, and a different time frame for when the party is in government. In this case, the party is in government, but if you recall, the vice president himself was elected November 4th last year. So going ahead to select a running mate within that same month, we felt was a bit of a rush decision if he had done so, and therefore he needed that latitude of time to be able to engage properly and put his searching rod and compass well in order to come up with a credible person, in order to come up with a candidate who will be a perfect complement to the ticket. And that is what has been done today. And once he presented to National Council today, as was given by the General Secretary, his presser, there was a unanimous acceptance of the candidacy or the selection of Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, the MP for Manhyia South constituency, and the Minister for Energy.
So there were quite a number of people. What were the specifics he was looking for, and what actually tipped it in favor of Napo?
Well, in this case, one may have to look at a broader scope of attributes to expect in a potential running mate. I may not be able to say with exactitude what the vice president was looking for, but I can judge from his previous interviews that he had conducted, especially the ones that he did with African Watch. He mentioned about 5 attributes. He talked about trust. He talked about loyalty. He talked about competence. He talked about hard work and compatibility. These may not be the finality of the attributes that he may want to see in his running mate. But what is important is that you should remember the vice president is a politician who is seeking for presidential votes. And so what matters to the politician, more importantly, is the votes.
The votes, yeah.
So whoever he is bringing on board
should be able to bring the votes.
Should be able to bring the votes to augment what in his natural capacity he will be able to draw in order to be able to win the elections. If you don't win the elections and you have a trusted or loyal, running mate, itself has no significance, very useless. So I think at the back of his mind also, he needed that candidate who will be able to bring in votes and also energize the base of the party in order to consolidate the base of the party. Because when you are in your second term and you want to creep onto or into a third term, you really have to work hard, and you really have to do something first to consolidate your gain, your base, and then go and look out for some outside to add on to what you have. And I think Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh fits that position and that responsibility. And so be able to galvanize the support, energize the base, give hope to the despondent, party person and those who are all disgruntled, give them reason why they have to keep on working for the party, and also how we can enter into the floating voters basket to ensure.
So as somebody who works with him very closely, at what point in the whole process did it become clear to you yourself that this was the direction my boss was taking?
Well, I wish I don't understand that question because there are things I know, but also because of the competing interests. And of course, if you were interested and you came to me, I would tell you I have no idea. So if I come back today to say I knew it 5 months, 6 months ago, it's like I lied to you. But the obvious thing is that, of course, we work closely with the vice president. So there are things even if we are not told directly, we see. And so it's obvious that some of us had a wind of who will be the running mate before maybe the general public got to know. That's how I will put it.
So how does he hope to deploy him? We saw him deployed as the economic whiz kid in the 2012-2016 election, which he did expertly. How is he hoping to deploy Matthew Opoku Prempeh?
Leave that to the campaign team to decide.
Because we're just interested. I mean, we just want to have a sense of what it is.
He's now been selected and nominated. Let's give him today. And then maybe from tomorrow, the other issues will unfold, and then we know how he's going to be deployed.
I see. You mentioned the fact that seeking to do a third term is a very tall order. That is the case. Many think that your government hasn't really delivered the economic question very well. I know some of you would disagree, but that appears to be the generality of views, on the streets. That if indeed we were to repeat President Kufuor's mantra, Oshawa Sitrim Net to Abapa, it would be difficult for the NPP to win this election. How is Dr. Bawumia aware of this difficulty, and how is he hoping to surmount that?
I mean, there are always difficulties, and there have always been difficulties. And I think as leaders, we have to admit that indeed all fingers on the hand are not the same. And also, at any point in time, we have to appreciate the fact that within the social structure, there are some who will be affected heavily by whatever wind that is blowing. That's an acceptable fact. What is important, especially when you get into the political arena, is to let people appreciate the fact that the times of the season, and that that all is not rosy for everyone, and therefore you sympathize and empathize with the people. But when it comes to elections and voting and choosing between two political parties, you need to put your cards on the table to indicate to people that yes, in the midst of all the difficulties, this is what you have been able to do to reduce the burdens and the sufferings of the people. No one is saying today things are tough because yesterday or during Muhammad's times things were easy. No government has been described as a government that came without hardship. Kwame Nkrumah's time, there was hardship, and that is why even when he was overthrown, people were jubilating. But years after, people think his time was good. You understand? Kufuor's time, there were hardships. Rawlings's time, there were hardships. You understand? Muhammad's time. So any government that comes...
But it does appear that the hardships we've seen now are quite unprecedented.
How do you measure that?
Of course, I mean, the state of hopelessness. I mean, the number of people who are ready and eager or willing to travel out of the country, no matter the country, once it's not Ghana, they are ready to go to work, etc. That number appears to be growing. And the number of people who come up to you asking you for money, even as small as 10 cedis, 20 cedis, to buy food, that has increased. And you could see from the faces of people that things are really tough. Hopelessness appears to be the expression on people's faces. So it's quite unprecedented. I don't know if that has come up in
to be the highest level of dishonesty. If anybody says that
the hopelessness or hardship is unprecedented.
The highest level of dishonesty.
Really?
If anybody says that, has there been any time in this country that you go to Kotoka International Airport and there's an empty plane there?
No, we're looking at the volumes.
No. So how do you measure the volumes?
No, we see quite a lot more people.
When people are traveling, 10, 15 years ago, I didn't have the capacity to travel 3 times in a month. Today, I have the capacity to travel 3 times in a month and come back because I have something useful doing. It's not everybody who is traveling that is going to domicile. People go and come in.
No, but of course, I'm not referring to people like
no, I'm not using me as me. I'm using that as a
no, we're talking about young people who
So
who have no opportunities and so on.
How do you measure that? That's quite dishonest if people say that. You understand? At any point in time, why do people travel? People travel for different reasons. Some are going to school, some are going to do business. 10 years ago, how many Ghanaians used to travel to Dubai? Today, multiples of people go to Dubai. Why do they go to? They don't go there to live. They go for holidays, they go to do shopping, they go to do trade and come back. So you cannot say that the fact that you go to the airports and people are moving in droves, traveling. Please, I'm coming. It's an indication of hopelessness. You understand? You rather have to look at it, even in the positive side. Because today people are doing cross-border trade more than it used to be in the past. Okay? Today there is ECOWAS, African Continental Free Trade, easy movement of goods and services, human beings, unlike before. There are no trade barriers as it used to be. Ghanaian young people are able to move to Nigeria. Nigerians are coming here, traveling now, doing business and trade. They don't go there to live there. Others also go to live in other countries. So it will be the greatest level of dishonesty and, in fact, lack of proper education for anybody to say that because people are traveling more is an indication of hopelessness.
Yes,
I don't buy into that.
Yes, I don't think it's about traveling necessarily.
That is what you are saying.
Wait, but traveling for greener pastures.
No, how do you
young people traveling, leaving the country.
That is not a problem.
For greener pastures because they lack opportunities.
Listen.
So I'm not talking about people who go to Dubai to do business.
I have a problem with you limiting the purpose of traveling to a problem of hopelessness. That is not correct. Different people have different reasons why they travel. And in the case, there's nothing wrong. If I live in Accra and I think that going to live in Sunyani will better my lot. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with proper and genuine migration. You understand? What is important is that we need to look at how we make situations better for people, whether they are traveling or they are living in the country. We should not just say because we go to the... I saw pictures of people taking pictures at the airport to say that so many people are traveling, so the country... Then what would you say about Heathrow and London? What is the busiest airport in the world? Is that not Heathrow? People are traveling in and out. Is that to say that the UK economy is bad? What other busy airports do you have? JFK, Dallas, Washington. So you go to Dallas, Washington, and people are traveling so many times. You say, American economy is collapsing. There's hopelessness. I mean, I'm
surprised about the way you're construing.
No. That is the angle you are going, and I don't expect that to happen because you need to do proper.
And I'm saying that, of course, the Dubai, Heathrow, yes, people travel for business.
Yeah, so why do you say that when you go to the airport, Ghana people are traveling?
The point really is that
it's hopelessness.
There are a lot of people traveling this day and are willing to travel because they don't find the country providing them with opportunities.
Look, the genuine thing you need to talk about is that there are people traveling, some people traveling because they may have better options elsewhere. That is why they travel. They are not traveling because they think, in any case, where did they make the resources to travel? You understand? But when you generalize it to say that there's hopelessness, people are traveling because they have lost hope in government. Oh, it's not right.
No, I mean, maybe that's how you. That's how you.
That is how you put it.
There's seeming.
No. That's how you put it.
But you know, let's just make progress. So now the campaign of Dr. Bawumia is selected. Matthew Poku Prempeh party accepted it, etc. What is next for Dr. Bawumia in respect of his campaign to capture?
The vice president is continuing his campaign next week. The second phase of the campaign, he's done with the first phase of the campaign, which was a regional tour, touching base in each region, on average a day in a region. Now he's done that. He's nominated his running mate. Our manifesto is close to completion. In fact, it's at the reading stage. The next stage is next week. The vice president is hitting the ground. So he's moving for his second phase of the campaign, which is the constituency tour. This time around, he's going to spend more time with the people at the local level, at the constituency level. And so it's not just going to be at the regional level. He's moving to the constituency level. And I'm sure once the running mate is outdoored somewhere next week in Kumasi, he will also take another level and then move not together with a candidate, but on a different stretch, also campaigning. The whole idea is to engage the Ghanaian people. Let the Ghanaian people know what this government has done. Of course, the luck we have is that we are competing mainly with an opposition party and an opposition presidential candidate who has had the opportunity to lead this country before. John Mahama has been president before. Professor Nana Akufo-Addo has been education minister before. We have Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh also as our running mate who has been education minister before. We have Dr. Bawumia who has been vice president before. John Mahama who has been vice president before. John Mahama who has been president before. Let each of them put their cards on the table. Let us subject their reign and the period of governance and their leadership to scrutiny. Let us find out which of them did what Ghanaians want or wanted during their time. Which of them has what it takes to move Ghana to the next level in terms of our future. This is the kind of campaign we want to raise in this country. It's not going to be a campaign on conjectures and all of that. Tell us what you did as Vice President John Mahama. Tell us what you have done or what you did as Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia. Let us judge the two of you based on your track record and based on what you say you will do further. Of course, we will judge what you say you will do for us on account of what you did in the past. Put your cards on the table. Nana General Pokwajimen. Let us judge you based on your track record as education minister in the past. Put your cards on the table as Matthew Poku Prempeh. Let's judge you on your track record as education minister or minister in this country. And let us see the education minister who who got the opportunity, and teachers taught for 3 years, 5 years, and only paid them 3 months, as against the education minister who got the opportunity and teachers were paid their salaries in full. Let us judge the education minister who got the opportunity and even common chalk was a problem Ghanaians didn't have, as against the education minister who even made an attempt to take away the use of chalk in our classrooms and use whiteboard and whiteboard markers, and let's see which one of them is most modern and expensive, and whether or not today Ghanaian schools are lacking whiteboard markers. Let us judge your reign as education minister who scrapped teacher trainee allowance and the education minister who reinstituted teacher trainee allowance.
Which you are not really paying, because that is in arrears.
You see, that may be true. But I prefer to be paid an arrears than have nothing at all.
No, but the point is, if government doesn't have the money to pay, and there's an alternative, there's another way.
What is the alternative?
Because we understand that there was.
So what was the alternative loan, that was provided?
There was a loan. There was a loan alternative.
What was it? Was it provided?
No, because we understand that the loan was provided.
There was no loan provided.
No, that was a proposition.
No,
that they're taking it away.
We are talking about actuals. We are not talking about propositions.
Yes, so they were taking it away.
I'm coming.
And introducing.
What I'm saying is that. Till today, Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman scrapped teacher trainee allowance without any alternative. Under Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, teacher trainee allowance was instituted.
Restored.
Okay, reinstituted, restored. And they are paid. Okay?
Albeit in arrears.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Even CTFM, sometimes you have salary arrears. There's nothing wrong with that. And so far as it comes, it is what is most important.
But my producers are saying no. There's nothing like salary arrears.
We have friends who have worked there before. We are not subjecting CTFM to scrutiny.
That's on the lighter side.
So what is important is that we have an education minister who is an educationist herself, and yet scrapped teacher trainee allowance without any sympathy. Somebody came. He's not an educationist, but saw the need to restore that, and it was restored. We had an education minister who scrapped nursing trainee allowance. We had an education minister who restored it. We have an education minister who couldn't implement free SHS. We have an education minister
who introduced a progressively free SHS.
I am not aware of a free SHS policy that was implemented by the NDC. I am not aware.
There was a progressively free.
I am not aware. And I don't think there is any Ghanaian truthfully who is aware of a free SHS policy that was introduced by the NDC. But
the argument, of course,
indeed,
the NDC was here yesterday, and they made a point that even the way you introduced it was also progressively free.
Yes,
so there were the Form 1 you started.
It is not about their argument.
But at the time, there were Form 2s and Form 3s who were paying fees. So you started from Form 1 and you progressed it to the end.
It is not about what they say,
but it's about what it was, which is what
it is not about what they say as against what I say. It is about what Ghanaians are experiencing.
Yes, so at the time, Form 2 and Form 3 were paying fees.
Please, it is about what Ghanaians are experiencing. Does any Ghanaian in his right senses believe the NDC implemented free senior high school in this country? Okay, so we have that at Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, and it is run smoothly. And there's no problem with it, okay? And that is the kind of leadership that we are talking about. So these are the things that we have to present to people, okay? These are two leaders. Let us judge them based on what they have done before.
Very well.
To believe or otherwise what they are saying they will do.
Very well. I know the Tananoff people will not forgive me if we don't say anything about Tananoff. How is the campaign going on the ground? It appears it's a strong, a safe seat for the MPP, but how is the campaign going on the ground?
I don't believe in safe seats, okay? I believe in hard work. And I believe in being there for the people. That is what I'm trying to do. And I thank God so much that I have a community that also believe in good causes, and they are supporting the good cause. And I only pray to God that I get the strength and the courage and the resources to do what I'm doing. The campaign has been fantastic. It has been smooth, albeit with the challenges, but we're soldiering on. And I know at the end of the day, victory will come, but we want the victory to come.
You want the victory to be 100%.
Yeah. Not 100%.
No, I mean,
I'm very honest.
What I mean is the victory should be on both sides.
Yeah.
For the presidency and
exactly. I want that. I mean, turn enough people, once you vote for me, you vote for Dr. Bawumia. That is it. It is when the Father is there, the Son is there. Then your prayers are answered. Your prayers.
But how are you combining your role in the office of the Vice President, and PC-ship, parliamentary candidate?
Well,
how are you doing that?
I've been multitasking. I mean, that's my life. I mean, when I was a PhD student, I was at the same time a lecturer. You understand? So I've learned how to multitask, and so that's not a problem for me. And there's a perfect arrangement in my office as to how I balance it. You wouldn't even see it.
I see.
Yeah, you wouldn't even see it.
Your final words?
Yeah, my final words is that Ghana, we've presented to you one of the vibrant, young, talented minds in the country. The gentleman who has seen what it takes to be there for the people, especially the young people of this country. Napo is the people's man. He is the man that stands for people. His benevolence level and his level of thoughts, understanding of issues in this country, and his commitment and hard work is something that I appreciate so much. We have two workaholics in Mahamudu Bawumia and Matthew Puku Prempe. And these are young people who are in tune to the contemporary trends, and they know what time it is to do what for the young people of this country, to their benefit and the benefit of society.
Very well.
I think we have to give them a chance. For once, for Ghana to say that we have these two gang of young, talented minds that have been granted the opportunity to lead the country. Let us see what they bring to the table. Their track record is a testament to the fact that they can do it.
Very well.